Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Justin Dehm Show. Scott Kerker, along with Metamore head coach Justin Dehm. Coach, this past weekend, kind of a tough week, but boy, anything can happen in the playoffs. So, you last Friday you dropped a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
When I look at Metamore right now. And this is where the lack of a senior, a guy that can kind of have that sense of urgency, would really make a difference. And we don't have that. And I really believe that if you had someone that could step in, and because this is the time of year where if you're a senior and you lose, you're done.
Yep.
And I know the kids don't look at it that way, but there's something about seniors that make teams at the end of the year play a little differently. And I think that's the one thing that we're lacking. And I don't know if that's not a knock on anybody. It's just, it's reality. And I think that your kids still, for the most part, they play pretty darn hard.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And, if you get a kind of a second chance, you get your second season coming up, but this past weekend, I think that was the biggest problem that we've had, is that we just aren't playing with that sense of urgency right now. And there's nothing you can really do about it. You just kind of have to play through it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Like you said, there's a reason why Morton hasn't lost in this calendar year 2026. 7 of their 8 guys that play are all seniors. So they've been through this environment before. They've been in these big games before. They've lost and had their season end, and they know what that feeling feels like. It was against us last year.
Yeah.
A lot of them. So and hopefully it'll be against us again this year, next week. But it's great to have young guys, because they're going to keep getting better throughout the season, and you're going to have them back next year.
Yep.
It's also great to have old guys, because they're experienced and usually show some leadership, and like you said, they really don't want their season, their career in some cases, to end. And so sometimes they have a little bit more at the end of the season.
For sure. And, when you look back on our great teams, we had that senior. We had a couple of those seniors. Some of them always weren't starters, but they were senior leaders that came in, and maybe they were on the practice squad, and they gave you great minutes in practice.
Yep.
And then there was, and yet there was still a guy or two, Zach Schroeder, who was a tremendous leader for you.
Yeah.
And then the next year you had a whole bunch of great leaders, and you won a state title.
Yep.
And you're right. You look at Morton this year; they've got 7 seniors.
Yeah.
And down the stretch, they're playing really, really well, because their season's on the line.
Yep, sure is.
And their career.
And you could even I could go way back, 2016. You think of all the best teams that we've had over the years here. 2016, Nate Cannell Sr., Michael Adams Sr., Jordan Dehm Sr., Dallas Morgan Sr., and then I think we started 1 junior. So 4 seniors in that year, 4 all-conference guys. The 2018 team, you think the best players on that team were juniors, Dietz, Havens, Thomas Hall, Joe Nealon, all those guys. But really the leaders were the seniors. It was Andrew Bias, who's now a coach with the girls team, Clayton Bachman. And those are the guys who made the big shots, who made the big plays. Clayton made one of the biggest free throws of all time. Missed the first one. They called a timeout to freeze him. We had 5 seconds left. He came in and he made the last one to tie the game up. And Andrew Bias made the 3 when we were down 3 with like a minute left, and I was like, somebody's got to step up and make a play. Somebody's got to make a shot. It was a senior that did it, right? And you go back to, like you said, the team that got second in state was a ton of juniors and a sophomore. But Zach Schroeder was the leader of that team, right? The senior leadership that year was huge. And then the next year we had several seniors that were leading us, 3 guys that started. Drew Tucker, obviously, Tyson Swanson, and Ethan Kaiser. And then the next year, a bunch of seniors again, Luke Hopp, Tyler Mason, Cooper Koch, Nick Walker, and then a junior, Ashton Greaves. You throw a couple juniors in the mix, but you're always going to be better when you have senior leadership, of course. So, that's one of the nice things about this season right now, is how well we've played at times with no seniors playing meaningful minutes at all. It definitely gives you a lot of hope for what we could do next year.
For sure. And let's face it, your only senior, Thiago's foreign exchange student.
Yeah, he doesn't even understand all the stuff we'd say at practice and games and stuff sometimes, it's not even his primary language.
No, and it's great that he's on the team.
Yeah,
and I'm sure
we love
he's
Tiago.
And he's great. But you're right. You just, and it's no one's fault. And I know it's got to be frustrating at times. And I when you look at it, and realize that whatever they do this year.
Mm-hmm.
You better, if you're another team in the Mid-Atlantic Conference, and we talked about this before,
Yeah.
you got our target on our back. We've had a target on our back for 5-6 years, or maybe more than that.
Mm-hmm.
For
at
a
least
while.
at least 5 years.
And if you're going to get us, you get us this year, because next year paybacks are going to be tough.
Yeah,
and
I think there's some kind of phrase that people like to say
yeah.
about payback, right?
Yeah, and I'm sure that there's a tally sheet that's being kept. And there's a lot of people have celebrated on their court, and
Pretty much everybody that's beat us has rushed the floor, unless it was a shootout, right? The
Right.
Neutral game in the first game of the year against Pasadena and then St. Ignatius. But Canton students rushed the floor. Washington students came on the floor, first conference game of the year. Both times, East Peoria students came on the court. Dunlap students on the court both times. So, it's a big deal when you beat Metamora.
And there's Randy Bagol, who I do the games with. He goes, you got to be kind of proud of the fact that beating Metamora is that important.
Yeah.
That you got to rush the floor when you're done.
Yeah, and when we beat Peoria High, we didn't rush the floor.
No.
It's expected that we win these big
You're
games.
right.
And
We didn't rush the floor.
even as young as we are, the top 3 teams in the regional or subsectional, we beat Peoria High, we beat Morton. We didn't rush the floor when we beat Morton, and we should have beaten East Peoria. We just came up a little bit short there at the end.
Yeah, and I say all of that goes back to youth, and I don't want to beat a dead horse, but that's the truth.
Yeah.
And there will be growth. There will be tremendous growth this summer.
There's a reason why, you watch college basketball and you see all these awesome freshmen come in, but their teams never win the national championship, even if they make it to the Final Four. You could talk about all these great teams that bring in 3 and 4 All-American freshmen, and they get beat in the second round. They always get upset by a mid-major school that has guys that are 22 years old playing against 18-year-olds. They have 4 more years of not just life experience, but just college basketball experience and playing together and chemistry and camaraderie. And like you said, when you're a senior, you don't want it to end. You're going to do everything you can to keep that season going.
The Fab Five, Michigan, they didn't win.
Right. And they were one of the few that made it really far
Yeah.
and still came up short.
It still came up short. And what was Al McGuire's famous line? The best thing about a freshman?
Yep.
You become
Becomes a sophomore, like the Palatine coach told me this year, right? Your young guys are good. The best thing about those sophomores is they're going to be juniors next year.
Yep, and he was right.
Yep.
And you look at the teams that Metamora, their resume is very impressive.
Mm-hmm.
You've beaten Palatine. I think they've got 26 wins now.
I think it's 4 losses, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, 26-4, something
Yeah.
like that. And you've beaten Glenbard West. I think they're a number 3 seed in their regional.
Mm-hmm. Good 4A program.
Yes, and then you've beaten Peoria Central.
Mm-hmm.
You've beaten Morton.
Mm-hmm.
You've beaten some teams pretty impressive, and you've
Yorkville Christians
Yorkville Christian
probably going to go far in 2A.
for sure. They were very, very good. I haven't seen what Pasadena's done, but I'm sure they've had a good year.
Mm-hmm.
So it's tough when you lose. But when you take a step back, maybe get a good night's sleep, and you think about it, man, you got 20 wins. And maybe one of the best coaching jobs around.
No, I'd say it was one of the best seasons by a bunch of young guys that we've ever had around here. I think these guys have really overshot everybody's expectations, including the coaching staff. I think if you would have asked us before the season if we could win more games than we lose, we would say it was a good year. We were really young, a lot of solid, talented teams around here with older guys. East Peoria, Morton, Peoria High is not older, but they all played a lot of varsity last year.
They got a senior leader there.
They have a senior that's having a really good season this year also. Yep.
And even if it's just one, they
Yep.
still got a couple guys that are
Right.
seniors on the bench.
Yep.
And, I don't know if anybody can say they don't bring a senior off the – Metamore didn't bring a senior off the bench.
No, we don't.
I mean,
we do, just not every game.
Yeah. You just named a bunch of teams, and you look, every team we played had seniors.
Yep.
And important seniors.
Mm-hmm.
And
East Peoria has got young guys, but they also have a really important senior that plays for them.
Yeah,
another guy that
Aarons?
comes off the bench. Yeah, and then a role guy that comes in off the bench. Number 10, can't think of his name right now. But
Yeah.
they got a little bit of senior leadership going on.
And that helps a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But there again, it didn't help them when they played a senior-laden Morton team.
Right.
And so I think there's a ton of optimism with your basketball program.
Yeah.
And then you look at those younger kids. I mean, we say younger kids, but it's just some kids that just couldn't get on the floor as sophomores.
Mm-hmm.
Beekman, Cam Beekman is going to be really good next year.
He's been getting better and better throughout the season, more and more confident. I thought he had some really good minutes against Dunlap the other day.
Yeah.
With Brady Jones out sick for a few days, Cam had to step up, and it was a weird game. We had 7 guys that played, and the 2 guys off the bench played almost the whole JV game, so they had to be pretty. And that's a long floor. That's a college-length floor, and Ashton's handling the ball the whole game against pressure defense. He had to be exhausted by the varsity game. Cam played 3 quarters. We had to sit him the 4th. Unfortunately, probably hurt our JV team. We lost, but we had already locked up winning conference outright. So did that game matter for conference standings? No. We needed to rest Cam a little bit. He's playing on a rolled ankle that he just hurt last Friday and couldn't play in the game.
Right.
So we're kind of the walking wounded right now. We got a lot of sickness and injuries, but not really serious stuff where I think we'll be, if we can get everybody back by next week, it'll be the first time we've been at full strength since January 10th against Muhammad Seymour. The last game, we had Gavin, except for the one he came back before he got hurt again. But having Gavin back is going to be huge for us. He hasn't played against Dunlap this year. They haven't seen him. Brady's only played against him the first game, but the first time we played Dunlap was our first game without Gavin, and we were really, just kind of struggled to figure out how do we play. We're missing a guy who touches the ball almost every time down the court. And guards one of the other team's best guys. So that was an adjustment, and we've kind of gotten over that, had some good games without him, and now we're getting him back, and we're going to figure out, how much better can we be now.
I think the thing that and Zach Bourne brings another element. He's done a great job scoring. He's been done a great job on the press. With Geyer, though, is he also brings a little bit of that toughness.
Mm-hmm.
And
strong.
This team needs a little bit of that toughness because Jones is a little bit, but the rest of those guys are more finesse.
And he might be, maybe our best ball handler. He's definitely our best decision maker. When I think he's over 2-to-1 assists to turnovers.
Right.
When he leads us in assists, but also leads us in turnovers, or leads us in assist to turnover ratio, that's really good. You really miss out a lot on that, especially in the Middle Illini games where the other team knows us. We're not going to be able to run some of our plays to get easy layups or threes like we can against Yorkville Christian or some other team from out of town, Muhammad Seymour, that they're spending all their time on their conference game, and then you play them on a Saturday. You don't really practice. Don't get time to practice and scout like that and work on it with the team. But conference games are different. You always have a couple days to work and prepare, and then you play somebody the second time, you really feel like you know them well. And a lot of these kids grew up playing against each other, middle school and travel ball. So not only do the coaches know the other teams really well, the players know a lot about each other as well. So having a guy that can just make plays, that can get to the basket, use his strength and score and make the right passes is going to be a big help for us offensively, but also defensively to be strong and keep guys from getting to the basket is definitely something that Dunlap did really well both games that hurt us.
And the other thing he does is it lengthens your bench.
Yep.
And now you've got a shorter bench. Your starting lineup isn't as
and they're playing the JV game too, so now they don't have to play the JV game anymore. So our bench not only added another guy or 2 from last game, they're going to be more fresh too. Right. And I if you're going to lose one of the games, that was probably the one. It hurt. It did.
But I think that you've got a chance now to come back. They're probably going to be looking past Metamora. They beat us twice.
Well, they play tonight and tomorrow, so they're definitely not preparing for us at all right now. They're
no.
going to be hopefully wear them out a little bit tonight down at Manual, and another game tomorrow against a solid Chatham Glenwood team, and we'll get to practice a little bit and rest. We're not going to go super hard. We're going to try to stay off our feet a little bit, not go super long, super hard, get a rest, get our legs fresh, and then get a few practices in to prepare for the game. And I like where we're at. I like how if we can get healthy, get guys back from sickness. I thought without Gavin and Brady, we did some really good things against Dunlap.
Yeah.
Like you said, it hurt because it felt like we were gonna. Well, it felt like we figured some things out. We'd cut it to 3, we cut it to 1. We just couldn't get over the hump.
Yeah.
We had opportunities. We got some wide open looks. We missed a couple free throws, and then they'd go down and they'd get a bucket, or we block a shot and it falls to the floor and they just get it and put it in. So that was just one of those games where the basketball gods were like, you know what, Metamora, you guys need to work a little bit harder if you want to beat these guys.
Yeah, those Northern basketball gods.
Today's not the day.
Not today. Yeah, it was unfortunate, but you're right. You've got the kids did do some really nice things the other night, and I think now it's just building their confidence back up again. And I know that they're a better team, and you know that, and I'm sure the kids know that too. And now it's just giving them a chance to go out and end their season strong.
Yep. And
wherever that is, I know that they won't give up. But man, the other thing too is this season flew by.
It did, right?
It's been a blast.
I know it has.
And we're down to the last. No matter how far you go, you're down to the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
I mean, for us, it could be 6 days. You just never know at this point. Next Wednesday could be the last. Somebody's going to be their last game, right? Next Tuesday, some team's season's going to end. So yeah, it's and if we could continue past a week from tomorrow, it would be awesome.
Oh man, that would be something. Maybe the basketball gods say you gotta suffer a little bit, but at the end of the season, it's gonna pay off.
It definitely paid off. I feel like the last time we suffered on a loss like that, or this wasn't like that, but the back-to-back losses like this where we were up 20, had some things not go our way, including the way we played, and then the Dunlap game. Obviously, Brady's sick for a couple of days. Thought he was going to be back by Monday or Tuesday. Turns out he's still not back at school. So that was very unexpected, and that was a little bit of why it was so frustrating, right? Missing a guy, missing another guy in Gavin, and having 2 guys with sore ankles at the same time. Cam missing the last game previous to that. So it's a little bit of frustration with losing, but also like, come on, can we catch a break right now? Can we get healthy? Can we not be having this many guys sick? But that is what it is. And last time we had a bad loss where we felt like we should have won that one and we didn't finish the job. We came back the next year and we won state.
Yes, this group of kids is. There's a lot of pressure on them because they've had a lot of success for, growing up in grade school, junior high. They've had a lot of success, and they've gotten to high school, and it's been a little tougher because they've been thrown into the limelight a little bit sooner than maybe they thought, or maybe they probably should have. But I think they've grown up a lot, and it's going to make winning that much more sweet.
Yeah.
When you do start winning again, because it will come. I mean, these kids are way too good to have prolonged slumps.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at our numbers in conference, we really have 5 guys. Gavin's not going to be able to make it because he missed 7 games, and people aren't going to vote for somebody's stats on only 7 games. But we have 5 guys that could be all conference again next year. Zach ended up 2 points short of double-digit average on the season. He had an incredible second half of the season. He's 9.9 points a game in conference and 5 rebounds a game. And Brady's 12.5 points and 5.5 rebounds. And Sam's 12.5 points and 4.5 rebounds. And Briggs is our leading scorer in conference, like 13 points a game and 3.5 assists. So if you throw Gavin's probably capable of 10 and 5 also.
Oh, yeah.
We got a lot of balance, which is what all of our good teams have always been throughout the years. it's not like when you play East Peoria, you really key on these two guys. When you play Metamora, you can shut down two guys, and the other three guys can have 15 points.
Or 4.
Yeah.
There's because you're going to have some guys that are going to come off the bench.
Right. You just never know whose night it could be. Briggs Busey's going to hit 6 threes tonight, or Morton Game, or Gavin's going to go for 15 and 5 assists and 5 rebounds and take a couple charges, or maybe Sam's going to score 20 tonight. Just never quite
Or
know.
Morrison.
Or Colin, or Brady, right? Or,
Yeah.
Going into next year, I think Cam is going to be capable of giving you double digits in a lot of games. And you never know what happens with, I think Avon Cassidy and Eamon Lynch are going to grow a little bit and get bigger and get more physical and stronger. And
That'd be a shame.
Who knows what happens? We could be playing 10, 11 guys next year, which is never really done before. So we're going to have to figure out how to do that in only 32 minutes of basketball. So I think, look out for some faster pace and a lot of pressing and trapping and trying to speed the game up and shooting a lot of threes.
Yeah, it's fun to think about what's going to be down the road because it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is.
And you got to go through some growing pains to get to that because if you don't have growing pains, then those wins aren't as sweet.
No, that's what makes everything.
Yeah,
That's what makes everything feel so good, right? After every dark day, there's another bright day coming up, right? After every storm, the storm's going to pass, and it's going to be a clear day.
Yep.
But that's what makes it so great. Like last week, why was it so incredible that we had these 50, 60-degree days back to back? Well, it was because it was 14 degrees and -2 wind chill for a week.
yeah. So when the nice days came, it was
like, this is amazing.
Yeah. In February. Yeah.
It's all about perspective, and
Yep.
it's just all about just being realistic with your expectations, and trying. You want to win every game, but you're not going to win every game.
Right. Yep, that's for sure. Coach, congratulations so far.
Thanks so much.
20-9. Wow, that's amazing. But congratulations on a really successful season so far, but there's more to come.
Yep.
Bring home a W Wednesday.
Let's do it.
We'll be back in just a few minutes with one of the Redbird's players. Welcome back to the Justin Dehm Show. We have one of the Redbird players, Gavin Geyer. I'll be honest with you, Gavin. I don't know anybody that's had worse luck than you when it comes to basketball. Last year, your sophomore year, out with the whole entire season. I don't think you got to play a single game.
No.
And then this year, you got a concussion against Washington during the Round Ball Classic, and you just, you haven't been back since, and it's got to be tough and frustrating.
Yeah.
How do you keep going? Is it knowing that, okay, as soon as it's over, I'm fine. I'm over the illness. The concussion's not going to last forever. I should be back.
Yeah. Once I heard I could be maybe back for regionals, that's what I kept my mind on.
Which, there has been, and Coach talked about it. You heard him talk. The offense. And Zach Bourne's been great.
Yep.
And there's places, we've needed what you bring to the table. Where there's places we need what Zach Bourne brings to the table. But the physicality is what, to me, has been what you bring to the table that we've really lacked in the last month and a half, or month or so, or whatever it's been. And is that something that you look at as being one of your best attributes?
Yeah. I go out there and I just play as hard as I can.
And I've noticed that you've anytime there's a tough bucket, anytime there's a loose ball, you go and get it. I think the one play that I'll always remember that you do, or that you've done, was against Peoria Central. I think we were down 1 with about 20 seconds to go in the game, and we had the ball. We brought it across half court. We're dribbling around. They stole the ball, got it back across half court. You stole it back from them, and came across. And then we called a timeout. And then Briggs Busey was able to get the layup down the middle of the floor and get the 1-point win. But I thought, if you don't go get that ball, we don't win that game. And that's been pretty much this whole year. The little plays, a lot of people call them garbage plays, but if you don't have those, we don't win games. Other people don't win games. And that's been probably your biggest attribute.
Yeah.
What things do you think you bring to the table other than that?
I mean, just passing the ball, giving opportunities to my teammates, and just not turning the ball over.
Which you don't do. And then some of those crafty up and under plays that
Yeah.
you've become really good because you're a little bit undersized in the
Yeah.
middle. And that's got to be a little bit of a challenge too, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Who's been the kid that's been the toughest to play against this year?
I mean, it hasn't really been just one kid. It's been whoever Morton put on me in that game.
They were tough.
difficult. Yeah.
I thought, and sometimes you got caught up in the switches, but I thought the kid from Palatine was
Oh, that
a
dude,
load.
Yeah, he was physical.
Yeah, he's very physical.
He had a
He's
few inches on me.
few inches and quite a few pounds.
Yeah.
Probably about 75 pounds on you. And he's a defensive recruit for Illinois.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's that's nothing to really be ashamed of.
Yeah.
He was pretty solid. But that's the other thing too is sometimes you get caught up on switches and you have to guard some guards. Sometimes it's the five, the big guy in the middle. Sometimes it's an athletic wing guy. And you've been able to guard whoever you've had to guard, at least for a while down there. It's never been a
Yeah.
mismatch.
I've always just had to adjust to whoever I'm guarding.
Yeah. So what do you think your biggest thing is, scoring or the gritty play?
I mean, it's probably just the gritty play. I mean, and then also just dishing out to my teammates.
Yeah. You've done a good job of that. Coach said you're 2-to-1 in assists to turnovers, which is outstanding, especially for a high school kid. And the other thing too, you got to be kind of happy about is when you look out there, whether you're on the floor or not, everybody's back next year. You get back 99.4% of the scoring from this
Yeah.
year is back next year, which is crazy. And I know you don't want to sell this season short, but I do believe that you guys can beat Morton, can beat Dunlap on Wednesday, and then come back on Friday and play Morton. You've beaten Morton at Morton.
Yeah.
So it's been done. You're going to have to play well. Seniors don't die easy.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll let you get going here. Thank you so much. Good
Thank
luck
you.
the rest of the season.
Yep.
That'll do it for the Justin Dehm Show. We'll see you next Wednesday in Morton.